The president of Tanzania, Madam Suluhu, is facing one of the very toughest moments in her political career because Tanzania is burning as a result of her decision to bar the opposition leader, the main opposition challenger, Chama Chadema leader Tundu Lissu, from contesting in this year's general election. And then she went ahead to place a curfew and unleash police brutality. Then she shut down internet, and the whole population was angry, and they went on the streets to vent their anger. Now, the presidents are very quiet, the presidents around East Africa or Africa as a whole, but if there is one president that is happy about what is happening in Tanzania, is the president of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto. There has been some cold war between the two countries. I remember when the late Raila Amolo Odinga led the Azimio brigade to protest against what he called an electoral injustice, Madam Samia Suluhu mocked the country, and she was saying that many investors were fleeing Kenya into Tanzania because of the instability within the country. And she was bragging that Tanzania was the most peaceful country within the region, and she was very happy about it. Can you take a look at?
Lakini ukitizama sababu ni nini? Sababu ni kwamba kwa jirani kuna waka moto na mwekezaji hakai kuna kuwaka moto, wanakimbia wanakuja zao kwenye amani na utulivu. Ni waombe tutunze amani na utulivu tulionao. Tunapotofautiana tuambiane, hakuna kisichosemezeka. Tuambiane, suluhu ipatikane, sio suluhu mie, suluhu yenyewe. Suluhu ipatikane ili tukae vizuri, mambo yaendelee.
And she was talking with a lot of pride there. Of course, it was true. Tanzania was a little bit peaceful compared to the chaos in Kenya and maybe Tanzania. It did end there. Recently, when some of the Kenyan activists went to Tanzania to stand in solidarity with Tundu Lissu when the mayhem started, Madam Samia Suluhu did not see anything wrong with the Tanzanians. And she attributed all this to an external exercise that is emanating from Kenya and the neighboring countries, again bragging that there was a lot of peace and tranquility in the country. Alisema kuna utulivu sana na wasikubali watu kutoka nje wakuja wavuruge amani yao. And this was Samia Suluhu.
Tumeanza kuona mtiririko au mwenendo wa wanaharakati ndani ya region yetu hii kuanza kuvamia na kuingilia mambo yetu huku. Sasa kama kwao wameshadhibitiwa, wasije kutuharibia huku. Tusitoe nafasi. Walishaharibu kwao, walishavuruga kwao. Nchi iliyobaki haijaharibika. Watu wako na usalama na amani na utulivu ni hapa kwetu. Kuna majaribio kadhaa. Niwaombe sana vyombo vya ulinzi na usalama na nyinyi wasimamizi wa sera zetu nje kutoa nafasi kwa watovu wa adabu wa nchi nyingine kuja kutovuka hapa kwetu. Hapana. Nimeona klipu kadhaa za kunisema niko bias na nini. Nalofanya ni kulinda nchi yangu na ndio wajibu niliopewa. Kwa hiyo hatutatoa nafasi kwa kiumbe yoyote kuja kutuvurugia hapa. Awe yupo ndani au anatoka nje. Hatutatoa hiyo nafasi.
And so today, when there is that total mayhem, the country is burning, there is confusion, they are invading military, camps and airports. William Ruto, I think, is asking himself, what happened? We thought Tanzania ilikuwa ni nchi ambayo ina utulivu. Then what happened? Are we now saying that there are other activists from external forces, there are activists from neighboring countries that are, engineering the mayhem? And the reason why I'm doing this video is because I felt that Samia Suluhu, Honorable, was very insensitive to the needs of the Tanzanians. Such are the African presidents. They don't imagine that the citizens can rise against them because according to them, they have pre-arranged and rearranged the military. They're in charge of the police, they're in charge of the military, all the ministers. You know, vyombo vyote vya usalama vile wa Tanzania wanavyo waita ama wanavyoviita. In Uganda, I think the president's son is at the one of the top ranks within the military. So they know nothing can happen. But one thing they forget is that time changes. We are not living in the like the 10th century, or we are not in the 80s where these presidents could rule with iron fist and people don't talk. Madam Suluhu must understand that as a continent, we are suffering from the same problems. And I usually talk of corruption, wastage, inequality in distributing the national cake, where someone just decides that maybe his or her relatives or people from his or her tribe are the ones that are in public offices, and people, you know, will not allow this. You shut down internet, that is, you are triggering more rage. People get outrageous about it. When Kenyans went to the streets, they were protesting against high cost of living, electoral injustices, and inequality. And I believe those are the same things that Madam Suluhu is suffering from now. When you go ahead and block an opposition leader from contesting in a general election, one, you disenfranchise that opposition leader. Like in this case, the Chama Chadema leader Tundu Lissu will be disenfranchised together with the millions of supporters. Now, if you look at what is happening in Tanzania and Kenya, the difference, there's a thin line. In Kenya, they will allow that opposition leader to take part in that election, but they will still rig him out anyway. But from Samia Suluhu, maybe she realized that it will be very difficult to rig the Chama Chadema leader Tundu Lissu. Like in 2002, it was very difficult even to rig in Uhuru Kenyatta because that was a protest vote, like a revolution. And maybe Suluhu believes that if she allowed Tundu Lissu to take part in that election, it would have been a different case. So she decided, we buy you, we block you from contesting. And hii ni madhara, wacha nikwambie, because there are no real issues to block someone from taking part. And when Madam Suluhu was saying ya kwamba wakona, you know, wao wakona utulivu, their time had not yet reached. And you've seen, like it was Madagascar the other day, there was Ghana, today it is Cameroon. You realize that youths are no longer taking crap. It is no longer business as usual to them. Even though all the presidents are embracing each other, it is scratch my back, I scratch yours. They will congratulate Madam Suluhu, by the way. Bibi Ruto will be the first one to congratulate Suluhu Hassan once she's declared, because anyway, she was competing against herself, because all those opposition leaders are non-entities, they are non-starters. Africa is sitting on a time bomb because there's a wind that will come, it has started, like that one of the Arab Spring, and they're going to rise up against dictatorship. So all the leaders must prepare, not prepare by unleashing the military or the police against wananchi, but to ensure that you understand your people, you listen to them. When William Ruto was scared, at some point, he started listening to the people until this infamous handshake came about and William Ruto intensified his brutality and people were killed, and you know what happened. Right now, they have formed some kind of a committee to compensate youth, and I hope that will be the end of killing innocent people. So Madam Samia Suluhu learns her lessons. You know, for a moment, Madam Suluhu thought that Tanzanians would not rise up. They will be looking at, you know, things going the wrong way and they're just quiet. That kind of assumption is very bad. And that's why when there is that uprising, she's like, what is happening? Because she never believed this would happen. But I know from where they sit, they know they can contain this. Ruto contained the Gen Zs. Museveni has been containing the protests in that side. Madam Suluhu is the worst of them, because at least Museveni and Ruto allow their opponents or competitors to the ballot. Then they can rig or steal the elections from there. For Madam Suluhu, this is uncalled for. In fact, that's why she's now being called Idi Amin Mama, not Idi Amin Dada now, Idi Amin Mama, because the characteristics of dictatorship and despot is seen or are seen in her. So from where Ruto is very happy. And I wonder whether investors are in Tanzania, by the way, because mama mwenyewe alituambia wakati watu nchi kuna watu wanavurugana sana, wekezaji wanakimbia, wanatoroka. Sasa hivi sijui wekezaji wamekimbilia wapi. And let them be very sensitive to the needs of the people.